Yo, listen, listen. The Acclaimed, top of the chain, so I bet you know the name. So Max Caster had this to say about pretty much just buried the way AEW's been handling these. Now CVV records these in, you know, he records them. I think he's still a trios champ at this point, so he records them a while back and then takes a while to drop them, right? But
Gotcha.
either way, he's talking about how AEW constantly brings up WWE, and also it should be noted that Max Caster has the term or the phrase "best wrestler alive" trademarked. Nobody can be called the best wrestler alive in the world of pro wrestling except for Max Caster. So he's working half gimmick, half real in this interview. Like some parts you can tell he's clearly doing gimmick. In parts like this, you can tell he's being pretty real.
Our popular
bringing up WWE all the time.
Popularity speaks for itself.
What about when you reference WWE?
Sure. Yeah, that's a double-edged sword. Because you can get them on some things and it'll be a good burn, but you're also putting more light on their product, which they don't.
So why do it?
Already, you know, however many years they've been in business, 50, 60, 70, if you count all the way back to the territories, they had that that credibility built in, that longevity. So do they need that from the 4 or 5-year-old wrestling promotion in AEW? No, they really.
Boom, right there, right? That's all anyone's saying. That's all anyone's trying to say a lot of the time.
Don't. And at a certain point, you know, people would say, hey, stop doing that. And I listened. I really try not to do it anymore because it just creates more eyes on their product and not ours. It makes us seem second rate.
I think it.
Boom. It makes you guys seem second rate. Like when you book Anarchy in the arenas with FTR and 2 random people. Is it going to be Hangman? I don't know.
It also makes fans go, why are you watching the other product? To be familiar with this stuff, to then be able to create lyrics about it.
Sure. I mean, there were certain things that had nothing to do with the TV show. Reference Vince McMahon on, I think, the very first time that any sort of allegations came out. When he retired, I referenced him. And that was like news. It was news. So I thought, you know, that's a little bit better than me saying their TV show, they did this.
Yeah.
On their internet show, they did this. It's way different. John Laurinaitis had done something. I think that's different than reacting to their TV show. So
and just Dynamite update, Serena Deeb's just setting up whatever she's setting up. Sorry, Awful. What were you going to say?
On this Max Caster thing, it's real simple. Do his raps put asses in seats? Like he's talking about this double-edged sword. He's talking about on one end, it's a great bird, but on the other end, it's referencing the WWE. Okay, well, don't do it, you jackass. Especially if the third part of that sword is it's not bringing in anybody into the arenas.
Well, people, they are really over, and he talks about in this interview a lot. He's like, "Oh, we have all this newfound success."
Are they really over?
I don't know, man. I think if you took that act and brought it to like NXT, they would fit right in, and I think they would get super over, man. I really do. And with the AEW fans, they are, and they were like the highest selling like shirt seller and merch seller and all of these things among AEW wrestlers and stuff like that. So, I would say, besides Athena, who was kind of already over because of her time in WWE as Ember Moon, like Max Caster and Anthony Bowens are the only guys to ever go start on like Dark and Elevation and actually get over and become like something that the fans cheered for. And now Tony booked them poorly. Like when they were white hot, they went with Swerve and fucking Keith Lee for some reason, you know, but I don't know, man. So their whole I like their gimmick. I think they'd get over. I love the Acclaimed. I really do. Everybody loves the Acclaimed. The Acclaimed, top of the chain. But listen. This interview is really good, and he is saying sort of what you're saying. He's like, yeah, like I should stop bringing them up, or like I will stop bringing them up, or he's like, you know, I try to bring it up only when like it's topical, you know. If like NBC's talking about Vince, then I'll bring it up. But he did say it's dumb, and he also does sort of shit on Shelton Benjamin in a minute here.
I would pick and
Not
choose.
shit on him, but he's just like, why the fuck would we want him here? Like Max Caster seems to have like a pretty good head screwed on him. And shout out CVV, by the way. If you don't, check out Chris Van Vliet. I heard it's not Vliet, but Chris Van Vliet, a fellow Canuck, and he does a great show. Like he's one of the best interviewers for sure.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
Honestly, it was never a good idea because
I grew up watching him. He was on like Much Music and shit when I was young. You know, like he was. Yeah, he was like a guy, like a local
MTV
guy. You know?
stuff. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Just, you know, create shots back and forth, and now you see them taking shots at us, and of course they are. If you know they're running hot, and anyone's going to ask them about AEW, of course they're going to take shots because we took all the shots at them. Fair is fair. I'm cool with that, but when it comes back around, you know, no one's going to complain.
So when the rap started out, there were no parameters. Now it sounds like there's some parameters here.
There's parameters that I put on myself, but the only feedback I got.
So basically, he just goes into like them not censoring him, but telling him like, "Yo, chill out on some of the rhymes." You know what I mean?
Right.
Like that happened for a little while. He got in trouble. Any thoughts on the Max Caster stuff here, though? Awful.
He's simply the fact that you're being interviewed for your raps and nothing more. Like not your wrestling ability, not really so much your promo ability, or the fact that you're able to attract a lot of fans that would not have been fans had you not been around. This Max Caster guy, he thinks himself a little too above it for
you get that you get that from him, that sense of like,
entitlement.
Sure, yeah. Oh man, damn. Here
What's
we
he
go.
ever done in the business?
Doing
well, he sold a lot of merch and shit, you know.
Okay,
I don't
great.
know.
Sold some t-shirts.
I don't know. I know, but that's a lot of it is that, right? Like if fucking LA Knight's selling the most shirts, we all go, yo, LA Knight's selling all the shirts. So like if he's outselling like fucking Jericho, if like the Acclaim's outselling like Edge and shit, that's noteworthy, is it not? Even if they're in AEW, like there's no reason Edge there. If Kurt Angle goes to TNA and DJ's
top 5 merch seller,
his fucking shirts, that tells you something still, right? No,
he's top 10 merch seller.
I can't verify that for sure, but the Acclaimed, they've done good business. I guess if you want to, like, let's be honest, AEW and Punk are.
I kid because I love
Max Caster, though. He talks about Shelton Benjamin, and they, you know, CVV's like, why you got to do Shelty like that?
Good enough. We don't want you.
Fans want to go. They'd be great in AEW. They'd be great in AEW. We only have so much TV time. Some of that needs to go to me. I don't want all of it. I'm not selfish, but I'm the best. So if
very humble too,
of course, yeah. But if people start calling for Shelton Benjamin or Motor City Machine Guns or whoever, it doesn't matter. And not to single anyone out, my sentiment is, why would we want them? We already have the best roster. We already have the best wrestler alive. If you want any.
Yeah, I did that this week on X2. I was like, I don't mean to single anyone out, but Will Washington, isn't he supposed to be like helping with the storylines? Like they've been so bad the last how long in AEW? Like, what is he doing? You know? But anyways, yeah. So Caster goes on to talk about, you know, like why would we want more WWE wrestlers to come here? And he makes a good point. Like
anyone to come in and do whatever role they're gonna do, I bet I can do it better. I bet Anthony could do it better. I bet we have a guy on there that's not even getting used on our roster that could do it better. So what are we really doing? We're just bringing in stars that were made.
What are we doing here, Bappa? Any homeless cats in the chat or what?
In other places to do what? Less work ourselves? I'll work for that. If you want me to fill someone's role, I can work and do that. It's not going to be overnight. It's not going to be, okay, Max is now this guy. No, but I could work there. But I, you know, it's insulting to me as a veteran and a top wrestler and one of the most popular wrestlers that fans will go.
So he's saying he's one of the most popular
Jesus
wrestlers.
Christ.
He's a veteran, a top wrestler. So maybe you're onto something.
Yeah, he's completely self-absorbed as a talent. I mean,
Well,
did he work in the WWE at any point?
Yeah, he did actually, but he does have best wrestler alive trademarked. So
okay,
there's that.
Good for him.
But yeah, he did actually. Do you want to know what he did in the WWE?
Please.
When Sami Zayn was the conspiracy theorist and he taunted Bobby Lashley by bringing out his quote two sisters, Max Caster was one of the guys in the dresses playing one of Bobby Lashley's sisters.
So many things make sense.
Go. Well, we want this other guy now. Why? You have the best. Literally the whole roster. You have the top of wrestling. So
you've got to understand how people read this on Twitter. They read this and they go,
jerk the curtain on that show,
you know,
with the best wrestlers in the world. Like, give me a break. This guy's a nobody. He's really like, first, I'm sorry. I mean, I hate to poo-poo all over it, but Max Caster, I mean, come on, Chris. It must have been an off weekend for you, my man.
Oh my God, yeah, chat's lighting him up too. We have Chris VV though calls him out as well. So
you're not good enough. We don't want you here. We're full. That's how people are reading it.
Yeah, but it's true. Prove that you're better than me.
I mean, Shelton Benjamin.
Yeah,
I mean, he's fantastic.
Like,
guy now.
How the fuck is Shelton Benjamin supposed to prove he's better than you if he can't go there? But also, it's Shelton Benjamin. Like,
you've got to understand how people read this on Twitter. They read this and they go, stop it.
Like, he's good. Prove that you're better than me.
I mean, Shelton Benjamin. I mean, he's fantastic.
He's okay.
Stop it.
Like, he's good.
Stop it.
He's good, and he's got a lot of accolades in his career. But realistically, what does he bring to the table that, let's say, Josh Woods couldn't do? Who is that?
Josh Woods.
Josh Woods.
Who is that? The guy who sets up the ring? Who the fuck is that? Does he hold up the lights? Dude. Is he the boom mic guy?
Oh my God. Josh Woods couldn't do like
the golf cart driver.
Shelton Benjamin helped innovate like a bunch of those Money in the Bank ladder spots that like made it into video games and that people replicate to this day. Josh Woods couldn't fucking springboard off the top rope, wrestle Shawn Michaels, fucking all this. Like, he's so green. Josh Woods specifically is like, yeah, he's a great amateur like shoot wrestler, but he's a guy who's so green when you watch him. Like, oh yeah, he was a great pure champion, I guess. Like, if you're into ROH, like a Uber mark, I guess, yeah. But like, what has he done? Like Benjamin's innovated an OVW graduate in one of the greatest classes of, like all, like, it's just.
And he's a durable wrestler. He'll be a great addition to the roster. He'll be able to help a lot of those guys in the back. And Max Caster's intimidated because he's going to take up TV time. Well, I mean, goddamn, there are so many people in your realm that have taken up a lot of your TV time, and they're better than you. What can be said?
Damn, man. And he talks about in trios matches, like he goes back not even sweating from them. And I'm not shit. See, I came into this happy about Caster. I was like, man, he's real confident and he kind of keeps it real. But it's just funny how chat's lighting him up and they're like, what the fuck is this guy even talking about right now? Right. It's like, yeah, he kind of is burying Shelton. Is he working though? Is
his first program going to be against Shelton Benjamin? Because if that's the case, then all of this makes sense. But otherwise, no. Yeah. If you're just going to shit on Shelton Benjamin, who's a goddamn veteran in the business, yeah, then come on now. You deserve to be seen as a joke.
This is this is another thing he said in the interview that might add or might explain a little bit of his perception of himself, is that like John Cena texts him and like has texted him before, like paragraphs being like, you're the shit, keep doing your thing, awesome. Like yeah, and he's posted him on his Instagram and stuff like that, and he's I don't know. He says that, people have validated him backstage that he looks up to as like some of the greats. But he said his greatest of all time wrestler in his mind is Nigel McGuinness.
Oh God. Okay.
What do you think of that? Yeah, so this whole it's like he's either really working everybody or this is just I don't know. It's silly. So HPN for $5, round of applause, says Triple H should sign Max and Anthony Bowens, I think. Then put him in a triple threat match with Gunther and Ilya Dragunov. Then Max can find out who the best is. So you want him to get beat up like fucking Antonio Inoki style, bro? Come on, that doesn't prove shit. But definitely they should sign him up because that gimmick, the Acclaimed, would be so good in NXT. In that like locker room, campusy college type vibe. Do you not agree, Awful? The Acclaimed in NXT.
What does Max Caster have that anybody in the NXT roster doesn't have?
He has size, really good size. He is a big dude. He's a big guy. He is. He actually is. And then Bowens, like if you pair him with Bowens,
wonder what his backstage attitude would be.
I don't know, but he can rap. He does have charisma. These are things other people can't do, though. These are things other people can't do, man. You
then the bell rings.
You have Anthony Bowens, who is in tremendous shape, is actually a great worker, especially if they just teach him to slow it the fuck down. But also he's like a guy who I don't think he'd have problems slowing it down. I think he just does all of his shit quick because he gets such limited TV time and is stuffed in a 6-man tag match. You asked what type of perfume Max Caster wears. I don't know, but him and Mariah May are flirting all the time on X. So all I'm saying is if he's pulling that, I want some of that perfume too, Daddy. No, but yeah, I think these guys would work well in NXT. Let's hear what else Max Caster has to say, though.
A heavyweight champion NCAA wrestler.
Maybe there's just a nicer way of saying it that wouldn't make people so upset on Twitter.
Well, Twitter's not a real place, so
we're back
who cares?
to that, yeah.
It's not a real place. I think people are shocked when I'm honest because the only time they really hear me talk is into a microphone and I'm telling jokes.
Yeah.
But if I'm honest about my career, what's wrong with that? Apply it to anyone else's job. Apply it to your job. If someone comes in and goes, I am Chris Van Vliet #2 now, and I want to interview everyone before you do.
There's a lot of those. And you know what I say?
There is. Yeah.
I say clapping for others does not take away from my own success. I clap.
That's goddamn right.
For everybody.
Sure.
I'm excited for them.
Sure. But if they start taking your YouTube page and delete your videos a little bit.
They're going to delete my videos?
Or maybe you get less interview time with the people because they have to go run next door.
And that happens. And I'm like, hey, so-and-so, that was a great.
Yeah, wait, what did he mean by imagine if they delete your I guess like take your TV time away a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it's
Max
not
Caster
really...
the Doomer.
Interview with this person. And I know that I'll get another one on the next time. You get one, I get one.
Sure. But maybe there is no next time for me. If someone takes my spot.
Maybe there is no tomorrow.
Max is so dumb when you hear, dude.
I
love it, dude. I love it. That's why I wanted to bring it to the show.
Someone takes my TV time.
When is my
next
Caster?
time?
And just to be clear,
he's like 28, I want to say. He's not that old.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah, he's young.
Damn, immaturity goes that far up.
And his dad played in the NFL. He's a real athlete, like he's not just a schlub.
Right.
Like I'm telling you, him in NXT with Bowens would be phenomenal.
Okay.
It would be
no need to convince me, my man. I just think as of right now, Max Caster is not. He's not. He's not on my radar.
Them and the Guns, they need to get the fuck to NXT like today, because the Guns as well, the Gun Boys in NXT, man, would that be a good act?
This isn't just a Shelton Benjamin thing.
No,
this isn't anybody, everybody.
Not at all. I will say right here, great wrestler, and I respect him a lot. But why would I campaign for anyone to join the company when we already have the best wrestlers? I'm here. Put me in that spot, and it'll be great.
It'll be great. Like he literally quotes Tony Khan, like he looks at the camera. I'm here. Put me in that spot. It'll be great.
I'm here. Put me in that spot, and it'll be great. It'll be great. But if I'm going to sit here and go, wow, yeah, we need more on this roster, No, we don't.
But then what happens every time someone gets signed?
I'm insulted. I really am. I want to see them prove themselves. And, you know, talking about the people that we've signed recently, I think Will Ospreay has proved himself.
Has Will Ospreay proved himself, Awful?
In the ring, yeah, but on the ratings and the popularity scale, no.
Awful, I must say, you know, you're one of my favorite guests. I don't know if I've ever told you that.
Oh, thank you.
You are truly. I'm not even gassing you up. You are truly one of my favorite people to have on the show because you're just so like cynical and like I love that. You because it's a dose of reality. It is, you know, and it keeps the conversation so interesting. I never know what angle you're going to come from, and I love that.
I know exactly what this Max Caster guy is. This is his chance to vent. He's too pussy to say this shit in front of Tony Khan each and every Wednesday when he's sitting at catering or Friday or whatever the fuck it is. But come on now, he's going to say this to Chris Van Vliet. But why aren't you? I think I said this in Marv's podcast. You got to kick. You got to punch. You got to knock down doors, and the squeaky wheel always gets the oil. And if you're not squeaking to the right people, this is why you're sitting at the couch at Chris Van Vliet, bitching and whining that you don't get TV time because you don't bitch and whine to the right people. What do you think? Chris Van Vliet is going to help you out in that regard? Like, oh, yeah, Tony, the guy told me. Like, give me a break.
No, he's not Meltzer. That's Meltzer's job.
Give him all the credit in the world. Don't
worry, chat. Don't get triggered. This clip's almost done, but this is incredibly entertaining. You cannot lie, guys. This is great.
Amazing wrestler. Okada, I think once he's situated in the country and he's on TV every week, we will see. But that doesn't take away from how great of a wrestler he is. He's here. We got to live with it. But if you had asked me before
they're interviewing Max Caster,
Max,
like
do you
he's
think Okada should be here? I go, like if you want,
like he's a beacon of knowledge and wisdom. Like, oh, now we're going to hear from Max Caster, world-renowned auteur. This fucking guy. So he's already been given too much mic time.
They're running a promo on Dynamite in 2019. Visionaries Matthew and Nick Jackson started the AEW, yeah, and the EVPs. This coming Double or Nothing.
But I could do that for you.
What if I say, do you think Adam Copeland should be here?
I think he's proven himself.
I mean, of course, he's a Hall of Famer.
No, he's proven himself in AEW.
Like
Andre Adams for $2. The fuck is he smoking? Talking about Matt. Yes, sir.
I'll be honest. When he was brought in, I was skeptical.
Thank you for the $2
as you go.
Super chat. Thank you, Andre, for the $2 super chat. But it's good to see you in the chat tonight, man.
You know, he's done so much. What else could he really want to do? This is my company. Again, you're stealing our TV time. But he's proven himself to be a leader and someone who's going to go out there and put in the work in the ring and pull guys aside. And he's pulled me aside and said, hey, I saw your match. Here's what I think. And I go, thank you so much. And I appreciate that.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of guys who wouldn't do that.
What if to play
Who, Punk?
devil's advocate here? What if Okada, Ospreay, Adam Copeland, because of the ones we just named, what if they bring more eyes to TV, which then bring more eyes to you?
They could.
He has no idea about the wrestling business.
But look, he says it for real though. He goes, they could do that. He's like, but I don't know if they have. So he keeps it real though. He's like,
They have.
The ones we just named.
He says it though. He goes, they could. I don't know if they have though. And it's like, oh shit. Like,
what if they bring more?
A little earlier in the interview, he talks about he can fill roles. How about you fill this one role, putting asses in seats? Can you do that, buddy? Can you do that, Max? If you can fill that role, then yeah, I'll believe everything you say.
More eyes to TV, which then bring more eyes to you.
They could. I don't know if they have.
Have you?
You know,
fucker.
Wrestling and TV is a lot about how you make people feel, but not just once, over a long period of time. So these guys can come in and there's some general excitement when they first show up, but are they going to sustain that? And we have to wait and see. But
does this motherfucker look in the mirror and ask himself those questions?
Well, here's the thing, bro. Like, it's not his fault Tony doesn't consistently push this guy. Like, if they could build him and Bowens in the stars, and they don't fucking do it because it's incompetent booking. So I don't put it all on him.
Somebody said in the chat, like he's the modern day Bill Watts. Like, come on now.
So hard to get to where we are in the company.
And Swerve just cut a promo. He's like, I'm the modern day Connor McDavid or whatever. And then Christian interrupts him. It's just more of the same old same, guys.
Company from literally ground up, homegrown, purely. And then to just have guys who were stars somewhere else, did their whole career somewhere else, come in and now they're perceived to be on top of us. It's an insult to me. I'm speaking for me. I don't want to speak for my partners or anything like that. It's an insult to me because of all the work we've put in. If other people help along the way, sure. But not many of these guys have ever campaigned to wrestle me and Anthony.
Come on, man. You would get more enjoyment and education from Chris Van Vliet interviewing the goddamn Brooklyn Brawler than this guy right here.
But he's saying, but here's the thing though. He's saying that like these guys are coming in and none of them are even campaigning to wrestle us.
Because why would they want to? You're not bringing in eyeballs. You're not filling in your role.
What he says is that he sort of alludes to that people don't want to wrestle him because first off, him and Bowens will look really good against them. And not only that, they'll be super over with everyone chanting for them, and he'll cook them on the mic with the fucking raps and shit. And so people sort of avoid wrestling them because it might undermine them and make them not.
Oh, come on now. What he's got these super powered fucking rap verses that kill the vibe of any wrestler they go against. Give me a break.
That's what some wrestlers are like scared of is sort of what he alluded to. And he sort of put Punk over, saying like Punk's one of his all-time favorites, and Punk let Caster roast him twice. Really personally, you know, so you see that like, no, like a guy who's secure like Punk exemplifies like, nah, it's all good. It won't kill your momentum or anything. But hey, there might be some vets who are like, I don't want to get cooked by this kid. Why would I let him get over on me on the mic? You know,
he's not getting over on him because he's obviously going to be looking at the lights at the end of the match. I mean, he's obviously.
I see his perspective too.
I don't believe him.
And I think there's a reason for that. It's one, because they don't want to get embarrassed via me on the microphone. They know that we are younger and hungrier and ready to go. And
perish the thought.
You know, they want to be in their comfort zone,
but I don't want to
wherever they are, and I get that.
Dude, come on, man. These guys would be great in NXT, bro. Come on, they'll be big stars one day. I promise.
We have the tendency to bring people outside their comfort zone. So I again take that personally when me and Anthony are the number one thing in wrestling, period. And then none of the top wrestlers are saying, you know, we can actually better AEW if we put on a top level fight with the two top teams, or, you know, two of the top teams. FTR was the only one team that, you know, agreed to wrestle us. And that was great. And again, I respect them for that. But there wasn't that like clamor.
So he's straight up saying like teams won't agree to wrestle them. Like, what the fuck? What's going on in AEW? Sorry, let's continue.
From everyone in the locker room, like, put me with Acclaimed, put me with Acclaimed. None. And I again take that very, very personally, because that shows that people are afraid to try and help the company as a whole.
Do you think they're worried about what you might say?
Right there. Hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yep.
My question is, why are people turning down matches with the Acclaimed? What kind of creative contract do they have going on in which they can turn down matches? And doesn't that also undermine the power and the leverage of Tony Khan himself? This guy puts an Acclaim versus whoever the fuck on the card, and what, they just turn it down? We don't want to face the Acclaim because we don't want to get cooked by his super fire rap lyrics. Give me a fucking break. This guy is working, but he's working terribly for himself. He's long been done.
You think they're worried about what you might say?
Yeah.
Oh, no, sorry. That was it. Yeah. So do you think they're worried about what you're going to say? And he's like, yeah. And then they go into like, you know, him having to whatever. So that was Max Caster, guys. Round of applause for CBV.
Yeah, you guys can come back now. Come back to the channel. Don't run off. Max Caster's done.
Hey, man, the views were cruising when he was on the screen there. He's a handsome young fella.